Hello guys, this is Kobe. Welcome back to my channel. I decided to make this video because once in every 2 weeks, there's somebody in my DMs asking about the prices of phones in China. In this video, I'm going to talk about only iPhones. I'll make a separate video where I'll talk about the prices of Android phones in the future. Now, before I go into the prices of iPhones in China, let me explain the different categories of iPhones that are sold in China. There are three different categories of iPhones that are sold in China. And this is new phones, refurbished phones, and used phones. Now in China, if you want to buy a new phone, you can buy it from the official store of Apple, or you can buy it from a licensed Apple shop. Most of the time, the prices of new iPhones is general in all countries, which means that apart from the country's smaller policies of taxes that are being put on these phones, the phone is sold the same. So there's not much difference between the price if you buy it in Ghana or if you buy it in Africa from the official Apple store than if you buy it in China. Most of you know what used iPhones are. These are phones that have been used by somebody and usually it's activated. Let's talk about the third category, which is refurbished phones. Now, these are phones that are considered to have defects. So for example, the company that assembles or make iPhones is Foxconn, and this company is based in India and China. Now, when they make these phones, sometimes there are defects, like maybe there's a microphone problem, there's an earpiece problem, or sometimes even there's a problem with the motherboard. And when these phones are found out, or when the company finds out that these phones have defects, they do not repair it themselves. They outsource it to third parties, and these third parties fix these phones and resell them into the market as refurbished phones. Some of these phones are even as new as not being activated. So next time, if you're buying a new phone, you should be careful. One of the major differences that you can spot between a refurbished phone and a new phone is usually it has the third party sticker. And when they sell it to you, they're going to let you know that do not peel off the sticker for a certain period of time. This is like the warranty sticker, and it's supposed to make sure that the defect that they fixed has been totally solved. So if you buy this type of phone and you take it home and then within a period of time there's a problem or the defect comes back, you can always return it. But if you peel off the sticker, then it loses its warranty. With that said, most of the phones that are exported out of China are either used phones or refurbished phones. Now let's go into the categories of these used phones and refurbished phones. Yeah, there are so many categories. Usually they are graded grade A, grade B, grade C, and this is basically graded depending on the shape or the condition of the phone. So if there are scratches on the body, if it's not been opened before, if it has how do you call it, dents on it, it will determine which grade it's been on. Sometimes the grade also depends on the type of defects that it had earlier. So let's say if it's a motherboard issue that has been solved, it will probably be in grade C. But if it's a problem as small as a microphone problem, it will probably be in grade A. Before making this video, I sent out messages to so many suppliers asking them about the phone prices, and they gave me different prices. And the prices that I'm going to give you today is an average price from what these suppliers gave me. And this is the highest market price that I'm going to give for a grade A phone, which is grade A used phone or a grade A refurbished phone in China. Most of the time, I advise people to buy the grade A phones because usually when you buy the phone in China, you're going to ship it back to your country. And if you don't buy the grade A, or if you buy something that is of less quality, it means the number of problems or the number of defects that are going to be in the phone is going to be high. And then when you get home and you find the problems, you have to ship them back to China and then have to replace them, which is too long. So I mostly advise people to just buy the grade A phone, which usually have a 90% of no return, which means that when you buy it, it's most likely that it's really a good phone and you're not going to waste time exporting it back to China if it has a problem. Currently, the cost for shipping iPhones out of China, I know of Ghana. So the cost of shipping an iPhone from China to Ghana is between $18 to $20. Now that we have this information out of the way, let's go straight to the prices. I'm going to give the prices in Chinese yuan and I'll put the conversion rate up there so that you can see and convert it to your currency. Let's start with iPhone 8. The price of iPhone 8 64 gig is 830 RMB. 256 gig is 950 RMB. 8 plus 64 gig is 900 RMB. And 256 gig is 1030 RMB. iPhone X 64 gig is 1080 RMB. And 256 is 1130 RMB. iPhone XS 64 gig is 1150 RMB. And 256 is 1280 RMB. iPhone XS Max 256 is 1480 RMB. iPhone 11 64 gig is also 1480 RMB. 128 gig is 1550 RMB. 11 Pro 64 gig is 1780 RMB. And 256 is 1980 RMB. 11 Pro Max 64 gig is 2080 RMB. and 256 is 2200. iPhone 12 64 gig 1650 RMB, 128 is 1750 RMB. 12 Pro 128 gig is 2200, 256 is 2400. iPhone 12 Pro Max 128 gig is 2650 and 256 is 2850. iPhone 13 128 gig is 2320, 256 is 2520. iPhone 13 Pro 128 is 2970 and 256 is 3170. iPhone 13 Pro Max 128 gig is 3370 and 256 is 3580. iPhone 14 128 gig is 2820 and 256 is 3250. iPhone 14 Pro 128 is 3680 and 256 is 3830. iPhone 14 Pro Max 128 is 4380 and 256 is 4600. iPhone 15 Pro Max 128 is 4650 and 256 is 4950. iPhone 15 Pro Max 256 is 5630 and 512 is 5950. This is the market value here. That's if you're buying one. But if you're wholesale and you want to buy bulk to go and sell back in your home country, then you can get it a lot cheaper. Usually for wholesale, they require you to buy about 10 pieces and you're going to get it for cheap. But if you want to buy just a single phone, you're probably going to buy it around this figure. Usually you do it plus or minus 100 RMB, depending on the condition, the supplier, and if it's used or refurbished. I'll make another video talking about Android. If you found some information in this video that is really good and you liked it, please comment under, like, and share to anybody that needs information from this video. Thank you.